Hello everyone, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. My name is Victor, and I'll be your driver. Today's destination is r/relationships, so all aboard! Me and my best friend have known each other for over half our lives. We were roommates in our early 20s. We had no issues apart from some bickering over minor chores and remained close afterwards. We can really be ourselves around each other. We can say anything without fear or judgment. We know each other's secrets, dreams, and fears. We are silly together but can be serious. We know how to cheer each other up and make each other laugh. We have been there for each other for all the highs and lows. I love him and know he loves me. Or should I say, loved me. We have had periods of low/no contact before, but those were never one-sided, and we always came back together as if nothing had happened. These periods sometimes coincide with new boyfriends on his part. Otherwise, it was just life taking us in separate directions, college, jobs, etc. But we'd always stop whatever we were doing if the other one needed help, no matter how long it had been. In mid-2020, we reconnected after one of those periods of low contact. He had broken up with his boyfriend at the time and moved back home. We had a heart-to-heart, vowed to not go silent again and return to normal, but when he started dating again, he'd go a few weeks without responding. He missed my engagement and seemed genuinely remorseful. He vowed to be better at staying in touch. This was in January of 2021. He didn't even last the month. We reconnected again in May, where he tearfully apologized for ignoring me all those months. I learned he had gotten a new boyfriend. Big surprise. Then in June, he moved about 6 hours away to a neighboring state with that boyfriend. That was in June 2021. He wasn't in the best headspace at the time due to issues with his boss and colleagues. He was hoping this transfer would give him a fresh start. I tried checking in and maintaining contact, but he stopped responding to my calls and texts after a week. I've tried countless times to get in touch with no success. I'm planning my wedding for late September. He always said he'd want to be in the groom's party and I would like him there, but I don't even have an address to send his invitation to. Obviously, he won't have a role in the wedding, but I had hoped he'd at least want to attend. I reached out to his mum last week, whom I've always been close with. I made it clear there was no pressure to respond, and I didn't want to feel like I was putting her in the middle of something. I was just concerned because I haven't heard from him. She said he was doing well, but often has a hard time getting in touch. She said she has to call his boyfriend sometimes to get him to respond. That rubbed me the wrong way, but I didn't say anything. She said she would reach out and ask him to get in touch with me. I thanked her and left it at that. He did try calling me that night. I was at a family meeting and didn't see the missed call until 2 hours later. He didn't answer when I tried calling back. I texted him apologizing for missing his call and hoped we would talk soon. I also sent him an email RSVP. He didn't respond to either one. So I called him again yesterday, a week after the missed call. No answer. I have been drafting a final attempt text. I won't put it all here as it's long, but I'll summarize. After putting my feelings out there, I explained that I miss him and am worried about him. I offered to drive out and meet him for lunch or something. Maybe I had done something to upset him, and if I had, I want him to tell me so we could work on it. We can either move forward or move on. I ended it by saying if I don't hear back, that will mean he wants to move on and I'd respect that. I wished him the best as he's an amazing person who deserves a great life. I haven't sent it yet as I wanted to see what internet strangers think of it. I imagine most of you will tell me it's a lost cause, people grow apart, it's a fact of life, cut my losses, etc. I understand and respect that, but I really do feel an urge to make this final attempt. After everything we've been through, I just really want to feel like I truly tried everything. I also want to emphasize there are consequences for his continued silence, like if he doesn't come to the wedding, then this friendship is over. I guess I'm just asking, what do you all think? What should I do, if anything? Should I send the text? Is there anything else I could try? OP, I'm gonna be real. It sounds like the friendship means more to you than him. If he felt the same way, he'd put in an equal amount of effort. I get the feeling if you really looked hard at your history together, you'd notice a pattern of it being one-sided. Then again, I could be wrong. Like you and everyone in the comments said, people just grow apart. You should send that text anyway, but don't expect much. And if he does respond with an apology, an excuse, etc., don't welcome him back with open arms. Maybe invite him to the wedding and let him fade out of your life afterwards. People move on, and so should you. Alright, now before I read this next story, I need to preface it by saying something. I'm guessing since you watch this type of content, you also peruse other Reddit-related channels. As such, you may have heard this story and its update before. However, there has since been a development that I don't think has been covered elsewhere. So what I'm going to do is read the story and update first, provide my commentary, then go on to the development. With all that in mind, let's begin. My husband took a DNA test on our daughter and it came back negative. I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I love my husband. We've been together since college and he's the love of my life. There is no other potential father for our daughter because I have never cheated and never would. I don't know how to convince him it was a faulty test and I'm so scared. These past few months it's like he's become a completely different person. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone and wouldn't tell me why. I showed him at first but eventually told him I wouldn't anymore unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter too. He stays in his office for hours on end and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning saying he'd done the test after realizing our daughter's eyes are brown and both of ours are blue. He wanted me to get out of the house. I didn't leave and he locked me out of our bedroom. Now I'm in my daughter's room. This is terrifying. What should I do? Edit. The specific advice I want is how I can prove my innocence and how can I salvage this relationship. I want to keep my family together at all cost. Also, I just had a conversation with him. I told him again that I would never cheat. I showed him a list of tests I want done, but he told me he didn't want to hear about it right now. We're going to have a longer conversation tomorrow. He said that he still loves our daughter and won't try to keep me out of the house or our bedroom for now. I asked him to hug me and he did. I'm scared that I won't be able to convince him I didn't cheat. I just want our family to go back to normal. Update. My husband, while still understandably distrustful, did apologize for the way he acted. I didn't ask him to do that. He reiterated he wouldn't try to kick me out of our home. He also agreed to do additional tests, but warned if they came back negative, he would go scorched earth. We first started with blood paternity. We had an appointment with a specialist coming up, but that got cancelled because, well, my daughter is not biologically mine either. A police officer later came to our house and took our statements. We're suing the hospital where I gave birth. I don't know what happened to my baby and that is terrifying. I have my husband back but my whole world was still upended. I just wish he'd never taken that stupid test. I've been sleeping in my daughter's room. I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken away, but at the same time, I want to know where my biological daughter is and if she's okay. I pray to God she is. Our daughter still doesn't know the details and we've been trying to keep it quiet. The last thing we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid. She's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we'll do. This whole thing is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. Are there support groups for parents of kids who got mixed up? I googled and nothing came up. Literally all I'm getting are tabloid articles from trashy magazines that slap the faces of innocent kids on the same pages as celebrity sex scandals. How do we tell our daughter? We can't do it now. She'll tell the kids at school and then it'll be everywhere. But we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this. Wow, wow, and wow. The first time I heard this story, I was not expecting the daughter had been swapped at birth. I did some Googling and came across an article from 2017 that says about 28,000 babies get switched every year, which is, you know, terrifying. You might not want to believe this, OP, but it is good you found out. Better now than during a life or death situation, like if your daughter needs a transplant from you or your husband. Regarding the husband, what I find really twisted is that he was right to be suspicious. Well, half right. He was wrong his wife cheated, but what else was he supposed to think when a DNA test told him his kid wasn't his? This is a really terrible situation, and as is wont to happen on the internet, this terrible situation has gotten a lot of attention. Like I said, this story has been covered on several other Reddit channels. While it was making the rounds, it seems OP's husband saw one of them. The development I mentioned is his response to the whole ordeal. It was posted on OP's account. Let's see what he has to say. So apparently a YouTuber my husband watches called Mark Narrations decided that it would be a fun idea to read my post on his channel. My husband recognized the story because, well, how couldn't he? He then went to my account and saw all the comments saying nasty things about him. He asked me to make a post discussing his side of the story, so here it is. Please be nice. So, I don't know how many of you have been down a self-doubt rabbit hole before, but it's not the most logical place to be. When COVID hit, I got fat. I got depressed. I stopped feeling like a person. My wife stayed beautiful. She stayed herself. I was sure she felt like she made a mistake marrying me, that she regretted being with me. I started getting into some online groups, especially on Reddit. There, I found many guys who'd been cheated on and lost everything in the process. One of them said that what tipped him off was he and his wife both had blue eyes and their son had brown eyes. When I read that, I felt stupid. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but when I made a post about my fears, everyone everyone said she was cheating. They told me to not say anything because she'd use it to hide her infidelity and get ahead of me in the divorce. I got the test and really didn't think it'd come back negative, but when it did, I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I pulled back. I felt betrayed. I wanted to be a good husband but couldn't shake this feeling. I tried to find evidence of an affair and failed. I got another test. When that one was also negative, I snapped. If you've ever been cheated on, you know what it feels like. When my wife denied it, I got angrier. I just wanted her to leave. I didn't want to go through what everyone seemed to think was going to happen. I didn't want to lose custody of my kid. I didn't want to lose my house. I was scared and angry and wanted the truth. I felt like if she couldn't be honest, there was no getting past it. I know I was wrong about the affair, but so was everyone else. My kid is not biologically mine. I didn't immediately consider that switched at birth was an option. I don't think me getting angry because I thought my wife had cheated makes me a monster. Hi, it's OP again. I just wanted to say that I agree he's not a monster, an abuser, or anything else, but I don't agree that he's fat. I love him very much and have for ages. We are not going to let this situation break our marriage. Thank you to everyone for all your help. Yep, it's still a terrible situation, but it is great OP and her husband aren't going to split. I hope they're able to recover and find their biological daughter. I also hope they're still able to love their current daughter. Best of luck to the both of you. Anyway, we've come to the end of our journey. Thank you for traveling on the Reddit Railway, and we hope to see you again soon.